students. First of all, I welcome you all to my first video on the chapter P block elements. So far, in my channel, you watched the online classes on physical chemistry and organic chemistry, is it not? And now we'll start inorganic chemistry with the second chapter, that is P block elements. Very useful chapter, very important for the annual examination as well as in the competitive exams. With respect to this chapter P block elements, the number of hours allotted to this particular chapter will be 11 hours. In the second PUC syllabus, 11 hours will be allotted to this particular chapter, P block elements. And in the annual examination, you can find as many as 10 marks questions. The weightage of this chapter in the annual examination is 10 marks. You can expect a 10 marks question from this particular chapter in the annual examination, board exams, right? Out of, yes, it is 10 marks, there will be 1 mark question in part A. There will be 1 mark question in part A, that is, there will be 1 question of 1 mark in part A, that is question number 7. Question number 7 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಅದು P block elements ಇಂದ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 1 mark ಇರ್ತದೆ, that is question number 7 in the annual examination question paper, right? And there are 3 mark questions, from this particular chapter in part C. That part C of the question paper is completely fixed for inorganic chemistry. In part C, there are 3 mark questions, there are 3 mark questions. 3 ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳು 3 marks ಇಂದ part C ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ. That is question number 20, 21 and 22. Total 3 questions from this particular chapter, P block elements. Each question carries 3 marks. So totally 10 marks, 9 plus 1, totally 10 marks questions from this particular chapter, P block elements. And that too, question number 20 is from group 15 of the P block elements. Question number 21 is from group 16 of P block elements. Question number 22 is from group 17 of P block elements. Question number 20 ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಅದು 15th group ಇಂದ ಬರ್ತದೆ, 21 ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಅದು 16th group ಇಂದ ಬರ್ತದೆ, 22 ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಅದು 17th group ಇಂದ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ question number 7 ಇದೆಲ್ಲ that is from 18th group. 18th group ಇಂದ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಅದು 1 mark ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ, ಅದು question number 7 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. This is how the marks will be allotted to this particular chapter in the question paper of annual examination. So this is what we call it as something about the weightage of this chapter P block elements in the second PUC annual examination question paper, right? Before going to the actual discussion of the chapter P block elements, then I want to give some information about the basics of this particular chapter. So one should have a knowledge of periodic table in order to understand this particular chapter P block elements. Of course, you studied periodic table and some of the topics from P block elements in first PUC. In the periodic table, as many as 118 elements we have. Yes, 118 elements are being accommodated in the long form of periodic table, right? All these 118 elements are classified into 4 blocks. That is S block, P block, D block and F block elements. S block elements anta ide, P block elements anta ide, D block elements anta ide and F block elements anta ide. That is 118 elements are being classified into 4 blocks. This classification is based on the type of subshell, to which the last electron enters. Depending upon the type of subshell to which the last electron enters in a given element, elements are classified into 4 blocks. In the case of S block elements, the last electron enters S subshell. That is, in the case of elements of the S block, in the case of elements of the S block of the periodic table, the last electron is going to enter S subshell. Those elements in which the last electron enters the S subshell, then they are placed in S block of the periodic table. Those elements in which the last electron enters P subshell, they are placed in P block of the periodic table. Those elements in which the last electron enters D subshell, they are placed in, yes, it is D block of the periodic table. And the elements in which the last electron enters F subshell, they are placed in F block of the periodic table. Yes. And of course, as far as S block is concerned, elements belong to group number 1 and group number 2. Elements belong to group number 1 and group number 2, and that is the elements present in group number 1 and group number 2, they are coming under S block of the periodic table. In the case of P block, the elements from 13th group to 18th group. Elements from group number 13 to group number 18, they are placed in P block of the periodic table. Elements from, yes, it is 3rd group to, yes, it is 12th group. Elements belong to 3rd group to 12th group, they are placed in, they are coming under D block of the periodic table. And F block, of course, that all the elements of the F block belong to 3rd group itself. All the elements of the F block belong to 3rd group. They are placed separately below the main body of periodic table in 2 rows, is it not? Each row contains 14 elements, right? And that is what we call it as F block elements. In the case of F block elements, the last electron enters F subshell, and that is what we call it as F block elements. And as far as S block is concerned, the general electronic configuration of S block elements is NS 1 to 2. That is, the number of electrons in S subshell will be either 1 or 2. It is general electronic configuration of, yes, it is S block elements. In the case of P block, it will be NS2, NP 1 to 6. That is, number of electrons in P subshell will be changing from 1 to 6. Maximum number of electrons in P subshell will be 6 alva. Hagagi, number of electrons in the P subshell will be varying from 1 to 6. That is general electronic configuration of P block elements. If it comes to the, yes, it is the D block, the general electronic configuration of, yes, it is D block is, yes, it is from 1 to 10, N minus 1, D 1 to 10, and of course NS 1 to 2, that is the last electron is going to enter N minus 1 to D subshell, N minus 1 to D, N minus 1 D subshell. N is the principal quantum number, that is, N is the principal quantum number in all the cases, right? This is general electronic configuration of D block elements. If it comes to the F block, it will be, yes, it is N minus 2, F 1 to 14, N minus 1, D 0 to 1, and of course it is NS2. This is what we call it as general electronic configuration of F block elements. This is ultimate, this is ultimate, this is penultimate, this is anti-penultimate. Okay, na? This is ultimate, this is penultimate, last but one. This is anti-penultimate, last but two. That is what we call it as in the anti-penultimate, yes, it is F subshell, number of electrons will be changing from 1 to 14. D means the last electron is going to enter N minus 2 F subshell. That is in the case of F block elements. So this is what we call it as some brief introduction as far as the 4 blocks in the periodic table are concerned. Yes, just have a picture of that periodic table. Yes, just have that picture of the periodic table. That first 2 groups, this is first 2 groups, they are S block elements, and that is what we call it as S block there. And of course the last 6 groups, that is last 6 groups, that is Yes, it is. That is what we call it as P block there. Yes. The elements belong to last 6 groups of the periodic table. That is what we call it as P block. In between, we have group number 3 to. Yes, it is group number 3 to group number 12. And that constitutes what we call it as D block. Yes. This will be the D block of the periodic table. This will be the P block of the periodic table. This will be the S block of the periodic table. And of course, below the main body of the periodic table, we have, yes, it is a series of 14 elements. Series of 14 elements, and they are placed below the main body of periodic table, and they constitute what we call it as F block of the periodic table. In these cases, the differentiating electron enters F subshell. Prati one rodal estu elements. So yes, it is 14 elements you will find. Yes, that is 6. That is, you will find each series each row is characterized by 14 elements. And of course, even though they are placed below the main body of the periodic table, F block elements belong to the third group of the periodic table. Yes. So this is what we call it as something about brief picture of the periodic table. But our interest is on, yes, it is group 13, group 14, group 15, group 16, group 17 and group 18 there. Nama interest is the P block elements. In first PUC, we already studied group 13 and group 14. In first PUC, we already discussed group number 13 and group number 14. And now that group 13 is called as boron family. Group 14, carbon family. Is it not? Because the first element of the group 13 is boron. First element of the group 14 is carbon. First element of the group 15 is nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and of course, yes, it is, and of course, here it is neon is there. Of course, the first element of the group 18 is helium. Is it not? That's why you can call it as boron family, carbon family, nitrogen family, oxygen family, fluorine family, and helium family, right? And of course, in the second PUC, we'll continue that discussion, first PU discussion. In first PUC, we studied group 13 and group 14, is it not? Now, we'll start group 15, 16, 17 and 18 in second PU syllabus, right? And of course, with that particular introduction, I am going to start, yes, it is group 15 elements. With that particular introduction, I am going to start, yes, it is group 15 elements. The first discussion of the chapter P block elements in second PUC, right? So that is what we call it as group 15 elements, right? Group 15 elements, and of course, group 15 elements, they are also called as, yes, it is nicosins. Group 15 elements are also called as nicosins because the compounds of, yes, it is group 15 elements are called as nicomides. The compounds of group 15 elements are called as nicomides because the compounds of, yes, it is group 15 elements, they cause a suffocation. Yes, that is the compounds of, yes, it is group 15 elements will form suffocation. So if you have a smell of compounds of group 15 elements, you feel suffocation. Usur kattang agutte. Enadru neevu compounds of group 15 elements smell anna tagondre aga namige usur kattang agutte. Adakoskara they are called as nicomides. In the Latin literature, we have one term that is neoms anta term ide. That is, in Latin literature, we have one term that is neoms anteli, meaning suffocation. Therefore, yes, it is group 15 elements are called as nicosins. Group 15 elements are called as nicosins. Just like, we have, yes, it is group 16 elements are called as chalcosins. Group 17 elements are called as halosins. Group 18 elements are called as arosins. So like that, group 15 elements are called as nicosins, right? Then of course, as far as, yes, it is group 15 elements are concerned, yes, we have, yes, it is, the first element of the group 15 is, yes, it is nitrogen, right? Second element is phosphorus. Third element is arsenic. Fourth element is antimony, yes. And fifth element is what we call it as bismuth, is it not? This is what we call it as the members of the group 15. First element is nitrogen with atomic number 7. Second element is, yes, it is phosphorus with atomic number 15. Third element is arsenic with atomic number 33. Yes, it is fourth element is antimony. with atomic number 51. Fifth element is what we call bismuth with atomic number 83 there. This is what we call it as atomic numbers of the group 15 there. Yes. And of course, it is very essential that you need to remember the order of these elements in the group. You must write first element as nitrogen, second as phosphorus, third as arsenic, fourth as antimony, fifth as bismuth. That is very essential because in order to compare the properties of, yes, it is group 15 elements, it is very essential that you need to remember the order in which these elements are arranged in a group 15 there. Yes. And for that purpose, I am going to make use of one mnemonics. I am going to make use of one mnemonics in order to remember, yes, it is the elements of the group 15 in the order. ಈ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ನಿಮೋನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಆ ನಿಮೋನಿಕ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೆ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಈ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ವಿಲ್ ಸಿ ದಟ್ ನಿಮೋನಿಕ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆನಾ? ನಾನೀಗ ಈ ಒಂದು ನಿಮೋನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾನು ಈ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ನ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋತೀನಿ. ನೋಡಿ, ನಾನು ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಅಸ್ತಮಕ್ಕೆ ಆಂಟಿಬಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಬಳಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಹಾಗಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಅಸ್ತಮದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ನಾನು ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಅಸ್ತಮಕ್ಕೆ ಆಂಟಿಬಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಬಳಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ನೋಡಿ, ನಾನು ಎನ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್, ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಪಿ ಫಾಸ್ಫರಸ್, ಅಸ್ತಮಕ್ಕೆ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆರ್ಸೆನಿಕ್, ಆಂಟಿಬಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಆಂಟಿಮನಿ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ನಾಟ್, ಎಸ್ ಬಿ, ಹೌದಾ? ಬಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಬಿಸ್ಮತ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ನಾಟ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ as the mnemonics that you can use in order to remember this particular order. ನಾನು ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಅಸ್ತಮಕ್ಕೆ ಆಂಟಿಬಯೋಟಿಕ್ ಬಳಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಎಸ್. At the same time, here we have atomic number 7 of the, yes, it is first element of the group 15 is, that is nitrogen, its atomic number is 7. If you remember the atomic number of the first element, you can write the atomic numbers of the remaining elements easily, because when we go to the two successive members of the group differ by atomic number either 2 or 8 or 18 or 32. We call them as magic numbers, because they can be obtained by the formula 2n square. You know, n equals 1 haki, n barate, that's equal to 2. n equals 2 haki, that's equal to, yes, it is 8. n equals 3 haki, that's equal to, yes, 18. n equals 4 haki, that's equal to 32. Is it not? We call them as magic numbers. Look at the difference. The difference between 7 and 15 is 8. The difference between 15 and 33 is 18. The difference between 33 and 51 is 18. And of course, this is 32, right? Because of that, if you know the atomic number of first element, add 8 to that, you will get 15. Add 18 to that, 33. Add 18 to that, 51. Add 32, then 83. This is how you can remember atomic numbers of all the elements of the given group. Not only group 15, for all the groups of the periodic table, you can apply the same formula in order to remember atomic numbers of the elements in a given group. Yes, ಇದೇ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಗಳ ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು, ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳ ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀಬಹುದು. So that's why I am introducing this particular aspect. Yes. So with that information, yes, let me take up, yes, it is the occurrence of group 15 elements in our nature. How exactly these group 15 elements are distributed in the nature. And of course, as far as nitrogen is concerned, right? Nitrogen in the form of N2 is available in nature and of course in the atmosphere, is it not? 78% of the atmosphere, 78% by volume of the atmosphere is occupied by nitrogen gas. And of course in N2 form, yes. Apart from that, this nitrogen is available in the earth crust in the form of sodium nitrate, in the form of potassium nitrate, in the form of calcium nitrate. Yes, these are the different forms of, yes, it is nitrogen there. Apart from that, nitrogen is available in the form of ammonia. Yes, in the form of urea. These are the different forms of nitrogen, right? And as far as sodium nitrate is concerned, this is also known as chili saltpeter. Yes, it is also called as chili saltpeter. Potassium nitrate is called as Indian saltpeter. Yes. or you can say it is also known as Bengal saltpeter. This sodium calcium nitrate is called as lime saltpeter. This is called as lime saltpeter. Yes. So these are peters or nitrate salts. Generally, the term peter is used for naming. Yes, it is nitrate salt. That is Chile saltpeter found in South America, Chile of the South America. And it is Indian saltpeter, potassium nitrate found in India. Yes, in the form of potassium nitrate in Bengal only, right? Calcium nitrate is called as lime saltpeter. Yes, these are the different forms of nitrogen as far as distribution of nitrogen in the nature is concerned. Apart from that, the other elements like phosphorus. Phosphorus is also available in the form of acids apatites. We have one family of acids compounds, we call them as apatites. In the case of apatites, they have a general formula 3Ca3, yes, it is PO4 twice, and of course CaX2 anta ಒಂದು formula ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತ ಕೆಲವು minerals ಇದೆ. The minerals of the formula 3 times Ca3 PO4 twice dot CaX2, we call them as apatites. If X is equal to Cl, it is called as chloropatite. If X is equal to F, it is called fluorapatite. If X is equal to OH, it is called as hydroxyapatite. That is, this is chloropatite. This is fluorapatite. This is fluorapatite. Yes. Then it is hydroxyapatite. Hydroxyapatite. This is what we call them as apatites. Not only that, this is yes, it is in the phosphate rocks ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ಒಂದು apatites ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡಬಹುದು. Apart from that, this phosphorus is also available in the phosphoproteins and plants and animals, right? This phosphorus is also available in phosphoproteins. It's one of the component present in phosphoproteins, and of course even this phosphorus is available in the form of protein, and of course in eggs as well as milk there. And even this phosphorus is an important component in various cells of our body, and of course even nitrogen is available in our body in the form of various proteins. Nitrogen is an important component of proteins. So this is what we call it as the distribution of the group 15 elements in our nature. And of course in addition to that, arsenic, antimony and bismuth, they are available in the nature in the form of sulfide minerals. Arsenic, antimony and bismuth, they are available in nature in the form of sulfide minerals. So this is what we call it as occurrence of group 15 elements. And of course with that information, we'll start what we call it as first discussion, that is electronic configuration. Yes. And this electronic configuration is very, very important as far as the study of properties of elements is concerned, because the properties of elements will be completely explained on the basis of electronic configuration of given elements. Electronic configuration elements that is ತುಂಬಾನೇ important ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ based on the electronic configuration only one can explain almost all the properties of elements, especially in inorganic chemistry. Because of that, electronic configuration of elements is very, very important. And as far as nitrogen is concerned, this is what we call it as atomic number 7 with electronic configuration helium, and of course 2s2, and it is 2p3. This is what we call it as electronic configuration of helium. Nitrogen. Helium in the 2 electrons ಬರುತ್ತೆ, 2s2 ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2 electrons ಇದೆ, 2p3 ಅಲ್ಲಿ 3 electrons ಇದೆ, total 7 electrons, right? And observe in the outermost shell we have 2s2 2p3 configuration. That is very important for us, right? The second element is phosphorus. That is phosphorus. Second element is phosphorus, right? Spelling annu kuda nodkolli. Atomic number is, yes, it is, that is 15 there. Atomic number of phosphorus is 15. Electronic configuration is neon, and of course 3s2 3p3. This is electronic configuration of phosphorus there. And look at that, 2s2 2p3 is replaced by 3s2 3p3 there. Yes. Next it is what we call it as arsenic. That is arsenic. Yes, atomic number is 33 there. Atomic number is 33, right? And of course I can write the electronic configuration of arsenic by using configuration of argon. Argon accounts for 18 electrons. Then it will be 3d10, 28. Then it will be 4s2. Then it will be 4p3. This is what we call it as electronic configuration of arsenic. Next is it will be antimony there. Yes. Next it will be antimony there, and of course atomic number is 51, 18 add body, and of course it is krypton that accounts for, yes, it is 36 electrons. So the next it will be 4d10, then it is 5s2, and then it is 5p3. Make out the difference correct ಆಗಿ 5 ಮತ್ತೆ s ಮತ್ತೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಬರಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕು. That is 5 and yes, ಹೌದಾ, 5s2, 5p3, right? Next it will be, yes, it is bismuth there, right? Next element is bismuth, right? Howda, atomic number is 83, right? Electronic configuration is xenon that accounts for 54 electrons. Next it is 4f14. 54 plus 14 is 68. Then it will be, yes, it is 5d10. Is that 78? Then it will be, yes, it is 6s2 and it is 6p3. So this is what we call it as electronic configuration of bismuth. 54 plus 14 68 plus 10 78 plus 2 80 plus, yes, it is 383. This is what we call it as general electronic configuration. And there you can find the outermost electronic configuration, that is 2s2 2p3, 3s2 3p3, 4s2 4p3, 5s2 5p3, that is 6s2 6p3. Therefore the general electronic configuration of group 15 in its valence shell is ns2 np3. This is general electronic configuration of, yes, it is group 15 elements. And there you can find in the s subshell we have 2 electrons. So the s subshell is characterized by 2 electrons, and p subshell is characterized by 3 electrons. ಹೌದಾ, p subshell is characterized by 3 electrons. ಹೌದಾ, p subshell ಅಲ್ಲಿ 3 orbitals ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Each orbital is characterized by 1 electron. What we call it as ns2 is completely filled and it is completely half filled. ಹೌದಾ, ns subshell is completely filled, np subshell is completely half filled. ಹೌದಾ, maximum number of electrons in np will be 6 ಅಲ್ವಾ. 3 ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು? Completely half filled. You know, completely filled subshell and completely half filled subshell will give extra stability to the elements. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ group 15 elements are characterized by extra stability due to completely filled s subshell and completely half filled np subshell. So this is one more important aspect that you need to notice as far as yes, it is the group 15 elements are concerned. No doubt we have 5 electrons in the valence shell. ಹೌದಾ, valence shell ಅಲ್ಲಿ 5 electrons ಇದೆ. ಹೌದಾ, 2 s subshell ಇದೆ, 3 p subshell ಇದೆ. Out of 5 electrons, 3 electrons are unpaired, 2 electrons are paired in the valence shell, and that too in ground state ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Ground state ಅಂದ್ರೆ low energy state ಅಲ್ಲಿ 3 electrons unpaired ಇದೆ, 2 electrons paired ಇದೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಗಮನಿಸಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆನಾ? So this is what we call electronic configuration of, yes, it is group 15 elements, or you can say nicosins. ಹೌದಾ, this is what we call it as electronic configuration of, yes, it is group 15, or you can say that nicosins. ಆಗ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ, right? ಈಗ ಬನ್ನಿ, one important observation that you need to observe here. Look at this. Yes, it is bismuth and yes, it is antimony ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ in the case of nitrogen ಮತ್ತೆ phosphorus ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಓಕೆನಾ? In the case of nitrogen and phosphorus ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ that is yes, it is antimony and bismuth ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, right? ಓಕೆನಾ? ಈ ಎರಡು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಗರೇಷನ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫಾಸ್ಫರಸ್, inner electrons are present in s and p subshell. Inner electrons ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ, electrons present in inner subshell. ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ that is in the case of nitrogen 1s2 2s2 2p3 ಅಲ್ವಾ. that inner electrons are, yes, it is s subshell. Electrons are present in s subshell. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, that is 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s2 3p3 ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ phosphorus ಅಲ್ಲಿ inner orbitals or inner electrons are present in p subshell. ಇಲ್ಲಿ inner electrons are present in s subshell. ಅದು ಗಮನಿಸಬೇಕು. In the case of antimony and bismuth, inner electrons are present in d subshell and f subshell. ಹೌದಾ, antimony ಅಲ್ಲಿ inner electrons are present in d subshell, and whereas in the case of yes, it is bismuth, inner electrons are present in? Yes, it is F subshell. Why should I talk about those ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, you know that these electrons present in inner shells, they cause one important process, one important phenomenon called screening effect. ಈ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಸಬ್ಶೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ಇನ್ನರ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಕಾಸ್ ಒನ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫಿನಾಮಿನನ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಹೌದಾ? And of course, as you studied in first PUC, screening effect caused by S electrons will be greater than screening effect caused by, yes, it is P electrons. Screening effect of P electrons will be greater than D electrons. Screening effect of D electrons will be greater than F electrons. ನಾನು ಇದು ಮುಂಚೆನೇ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾನು ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಮುಂದೆ ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಬಳಸ್ಕೋತೀನಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫಾಸ್ಫರಸ್, ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕಾಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ S and P electrons. In the case of antimony and arsenic, antimony and bismuth, screening effect will be caused by D and F electrons. ಇಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಇನ್ನರ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ D ಮತ್ತೆ F ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ S ಮತ್ತೆ P ಇದೆ. ಹೌದಾ? ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಇನ್ನರ್, that is screening effect caused by S electrons is highest in the case of S electrons. Screening effect of F electrons will be least ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಹೌದಾ? ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ what is that screening effect ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಈಗ. ಹೌದಾ? What is that screening effect? Yes, it is. ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ, as far as screening effect is concerned, screening effect is effect of inner electrons. Screening effect is effect of inner electrons which prevent outermost electrons from the influence of nucleus. Just imagine, we treated atoms as spherical particles. They are characterized by orbits. ಹೌದಾ? ಈ ತರ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೀವು ನೋಡಬಹುದು. ಹೌದಾ? This is what we call it as atom ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, this is a nucleus and here we have electrons. ಹೌದಾ? This is outermost electron, this is nucleus. Nucleus is positively charged and electron is negatively charged. ಹೌದಾ? There is a force of attraction between nucleus and outermost electron. ಹೌದಾ? There is a force of attraction between nucleus of the atom and outermost electrons. ಹೌದಾ? In between this outermost electron and nucleus, you will find some electrons in the inner shells. ಹೌದಾ? You will find some electrons in the inner shells. Inner shells ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, electrons ಇದೆ. ಹೌದಾ? These electrons present in the inner shells, ಈ inner shells ಏನಿದೆ, ಇದು ಕೂಡ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಶೆಲ್, ಇದು ಇನ್ನರ್ ಶೆಲ್, ಇದು ಇನ್ನರ್ ಶೆಲ್. ಹೌದಾ? ಇದು ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಶೆಲ್, ಇದು ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್. ಈ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಗಳ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಇದಾವಲ್ಲ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಪ್ರಿವೆಂಟ್, ಹೌದಾ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಪ್ರಿವೆಂಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ದಿ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್. ಹೌದಾ? ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ನರ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ನ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದಾ? ಎಸ್. ಈ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್, here it is a nucleus, here it is the outermost electron. ಹೌದಾ? Here it is a nucleus, here it is electron. ಹೌದಾ? If in between electron and nucleus, if I place any screen, ಯಾವುದೊಂದು ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, if I place one screen in between nucleus and electron, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, the influence of nucleus over the outermost electron decreases. ಹೌದಾ? ಈ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ನ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್, ಇಲ್ಲದೇನೀಗ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್. ಹೌದಾ? ದಟ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್. ಹೌದಾ? ದೀಸ್ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಪ್ರಿವೆಂಟ್ ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್, ಅಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಅಸ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಒಂದು ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಎಸ್, ಇದೊಂದು ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್. ಹೌದಾ? ಇದು ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಐರನ್ ಪೌಡರ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಐರನ್ ಪೌಡರ್ ಇದೆ. ಈಗ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ಬದಲಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಏನ್ ತಗೋಬೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್. ಐರನ್ ಪೌಡರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್, ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಈ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಐರನ್ ಪೌಡರ್ ನ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದಾ? ಈ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಐರನ್ ಪೌಡರ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಒಂದು ಐರನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ಇಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ನನಗೆ. ಐರನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದಿ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ಓವರ್ ದಿ ಓವರ್ ದಿ ಐರನ್ ಪೌಡರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಿ, ಇನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಐರನ್ ಪೌಡರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ಏನ್ ಬಂತಲ್ಲಿ, ಐರನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ಬಂತಲ್ವಾ. ಐರನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಐರನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಪ್ರಿವೆಂಟ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್. ಹೌದಾ? ಟುವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ದಿ, ಎಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಐರನ್ ಪೌಡರ್. ಆಗೇನಾಯ್ತು, ಎಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ is acting like a screen that prevents this iron powder from the attraction of magnet. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಐರನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಏನು ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅದು ಇನ್ನರ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್. ಸೊ these inner electrons, they are going to prevent outermost electron from the influence of nucleus, and that is what we call it as screening effect. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಆಗುವಂತ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಏನು, what is the consequence of the screening effect ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ. if screening effect increases, ಈ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಗಳ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನೋಡಿ, ಇಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಹೈ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಹಾಗೇನಾಯ್ತು, ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಗಳ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಯ್ತು. ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಗಳ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಕ್ಲೌಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್ಸ್. ಇಫ್ ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಕ್ಲೌಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಸ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆಸ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಸ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಸ್. ನೋಡಿ, ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ which prevents outermost electron from the influence of nucleus. ಈ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ದನ್ ಪಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್. ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ದನ್ ಡಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್. ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ದನ್ ಎಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ವೈ ದಟ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಹೈ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಎಸ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಪೆರಿಕಲಿ ಸಿಮೆಟ್ರಿಕ್. ಹೌದಾ, ಎಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಎಸ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟಲ್. ಎಸ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಸ್ಪೆರಿಕಲಿ ಸಿಮೆಟ್ರಿಕ್. ಹೌದಾ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಎಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಕವರ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್. ಆ ಎಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಕವರ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಟು ಪಿ, ಡಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಫ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಎಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸಸ್. ಆಗ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಕ್ಲೌಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್ಸ್, ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಸ್. ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಯನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಎಂಥಾಲ್ಪಿ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸಸ್. ಹೌದಾ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇಂದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ದೂರ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇಂದ ದೂರ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಈಸಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಟು ರಿಮೂವ್ ದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸಸ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅಯನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಎಂಥಾಲ್ಪಿ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸಸ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ as the screening effect increases, atomic size increases, ionization enthalpy decreases. So this is what we call it as screening effect. And remember, as far as the one more consequence of the screening effect is inert pair effect that we come across in p block elements only. That's the speciality of the p block elements. So what we call it as inert pair effect. ಇದನ್ನು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಸ್, ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ಇನ್ ದ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಂಟಿಮೋನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಿಸ್ಮತ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ರಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಗರೇಷನ್ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ xenon 4f14. ಹೌದಾ, 5d10 6s2 6p3 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ. ಅದೇ ನಾವು ಆಂಟಿಮೋನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟಾನ್, ಎಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ 4d10, ಎಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ 5s2 5p3. ಹೌದಾ, ಹೌದಾ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಆಂಟಿಮನಿ. 36 46 48 51. ಹೌದಾ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕಾಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಡಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕಾಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಎಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್. ಹೌದಾ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ತುಂಬಾ ವೀಕ್ ಇದೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಿ, ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ದನ್ ಪಿ, ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಿ ಇಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ದನ್ ಡಿ, ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಲೆಸ್. ಈ ಎಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ನ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ತುಂಬಾ ವೀಕ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ the screening effect caused by f electrons is very very weak. Therefore that bismuth, the nucleus of the bismuth ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, will have strong control over the s electrons. ಈ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ತುಂಬಾ ವೀಕ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಬಿಸ್ಮತ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ have a strong control over the s electrons. This nucleus of the bismuth strongly attracts s electrons of the s electrons present in the outermost shell, because screening effect of f electrons is very very weak. Therefore it is very difficult for these two electrons to take part in chemical reactions. ಈ 2 electrons ಅನ್ನ, ಈ s electrons ಅನ್ನ ಈ ಬಿಸ್ಮತ್ತಿನ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಈ s electrons ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. Therefore these 2 s electrons become chemically inert. These s electrons of bismuth chemically inert due to what? The poor shielding effect caused by f electrons. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ the chemical inertness of the s electrons, chemical inertness ಅಂದ್ರೆ they don't take part in chemical reaction. ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಿ, the nucleus of the bismuth strongly attracts the s electrons present in the outermost shell. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ they do not take part in chemical reactions easily and they become chemically inert. Chemical reaction ಅಲ್ಲಿ participate ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ they become chemically inert due to the poor shielding effect caused by f electrons. So that is what we call it as inert pair effect. And of course, inert pair effect is due to the poor shielding effect caused by d electrons and f electrons. ಇದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಆಗ್ಬೋದಾ? ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ as inert effect and inert pair effect. That is a consequence of the screening effect caused by different types of electrons present in inner shells. So with that information, we'll go to the next topic, that is under the general properties of, yes, it is group 15 elements. We'll see first of all, yes, it is atomic size. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, atomic size will be generally expressed in terms of covalent radius. ಹೌದಾ? So just imagine two atoms, they are held together by covalent bond. ಹೌದಾ? Two atoms are held together by covalent bond. Yes. What is covalent radius? This is covalent bond length. ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ distance ಇದು covalent bond length ಇದು. If I take that half of the distance between nuclei of the two covalently bonded atoms, that is what we call it as covalent radius. This is covalent radius, howda? As the covalent radius is also known as atomic radius, howda? As atomic radius increases, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Size of the atom increases. Then as far as group 15 elements are concerned, we have nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth, ಹೌದಾ? Yes. If I move down the group, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Yes, it is atomic size. Yes, it is goes on increasing, right? Atomic size ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. This is what we call it as the variation of atomic size. From nitrogen to bismuth ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Atomic size increases. ಅದನ್ನ ಗಮನಿಸಬೇಕು ನೀವು. ಈ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. On moving down the group ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Atomic size increases. You know that is, just imagine if atomic size increases, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ? Electron is going away from the nucleus. ಹೌದಾ? ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Atomic size ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇಂದ ದೂರ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಗಮನಿಸಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇಂದ ದೂರ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಈಸಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅದನ್ನ ಗಮನಿಸಬೇಕು. ಎಸ್, ನೋ, ಫ್ರಮ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಟು ಬಿಸ್ಮತ್ atomic size increases, and it has been observed that that is atomic size of nitrogen is around 70 pm, phosphorus is 110, and of course arsenic is 120, and of course antimony is around 140, bismuth is 150 pm. Approximate ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೀನಿ. That is in terms of picometer. Atomic size of nitrogen is 70 picometer, phosphorus is 110. So atomic size increases, doubt ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗಮನಿಸಬೇಕು, atomic size increases from nitrogen to phosphorus. That increase is very very high, around 40 pm. ಹೌದಾ? Increase in atomic size is more from nitrogen to phosphorus, whereas increase in atomic size in the remaining elements, it is around 10, it's around 20, it's around 10. ಹೌದಾ? Atomic size ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಆದರೆ increase in atomic size from element to element decreases. ಹೌದಾನೆ? Increase in atomic size from nitrogen to phosphorus is very high, that is around 40 pm, whereas from phosphorus to arsenic is 110 of only 10 units. It will be 20 units and around 10 units. Why it is so? The reason is that is a highly effective shielding effect caused by s electrons. It's because of effective, yes, it is a shielding effect caused by s electrons. In the case of nitrogen and phosphorus, in the case of nitrogen and phosphorus, the shielding effect is caused by s electrons and p electrons. In the case of nitrogen and phosphorus, shielding effect will be caused by s and p electrons. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ, as the shielding effect increases, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Atomic size increases. Here the shielding effect caused by s and p electrons will be very very high compared to the shielding effect caused by d and f electrons. ಇಲ್ಲಿ antimony ಮತ್ತು bismuth ಅಲ್ಲಿ shielding effect will be caused by d and f electrons. ನಾ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, the shielding effect caused by d and f electrons will be weak. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ nucleus will have a much control on the outermost electron. Therefore increase in atomic size will be less. But here from nitrogen to phosphorus, increase in atomic size is very high. So this is what we call it as atomic size. Okay na? So this is the another property that you are supposed to study as far as your, yes, it is NCERT book is concerned. You will still ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. As far as atomic size is concerned, atomic size of nitrogen is less than phosphorus, it is less than arsenic, less than antimony, less than bismuth. This is what we call it as variation of atomic size. It increases from nitrogen to bismuth. You are moving down the group. And of course, if it comes to the question of ionic size, and of course variation of ionic size also follow the same trend. Variation of ionic size also follow the same trend. That is, for a given oxidation state, ionic size of nitrogen is less than ionic size of phosphorus, it is less than ionic size of arsenic, it is less than ionic size of antimony, it is less than ionic size of bismuth. This is what we call it as the variation of ionic size for a given oxidation state. Okay na? So this is, once again, the reason is same. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, why that ionic size increases ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, on moving down the group ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, electrons are added to the new main shell. ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2s2 2p3 ಇದ್ರೆ ಫಾಸ್ಫರಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಯ್ತು 3s2 3p3 ಇತ್ತು ಹೌದಾ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಸೆನಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 4s2 4p3 ಇತ್ತು ಹೌದಾ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 5s2 5p3 ಇತ್ತು ಹೌದಾ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 6s2 6p3 ಇತ್ತು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗಮನಿಸಿ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, if I move down the group ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, electrons enter into the new shells. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಫ್ತ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಈ ನಂಬರ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಮ್ ನಂಬರ್, that tells you what main shell. Electrons enter into the new main shell. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಫ್ತ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ atomic size increases ಹೌದಾ on moving down the group. This is what we call it as atomic size, and of course yes, it is ionic size. Apart from that, as far as group 15 elements are concerned, you need to go for ionization enthalpy. Yes, ionization enthalpy andre energy required to remove. Yes, ionization enthalpy andre amount of energy required to remove, that is outermost electron from the neutral gaseous isolated atom, that is called as ionization enthalpy. Energy required to remove one electron from outermost shell of neutral gaseous isolated atom is called ionization enthalpy. ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, as atomic size increases ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, atomic size ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, electron is going away from the nucleus ಹೌದಾ. electron nucleus ಇಂದ ದೂರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. electron nucleus ಇಂದ ದೂರ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, energy required to remove the electron decreases. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಟು ಬಿಸ್ಮತ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ionization enthalpy ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ionization enthalpy of nitrogen is greater than phosphorus, greater than, yes, it is arsenic, greater than antimony, and of course greater than bismuth. This is what we call it as ionization enthalpy of, yes, it is group 15 elements. And of course ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ group 14 group 15 group 16 ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, that is ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ along the period ನೀವು group 15 group 15 15 16 15 17 17 18 ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ionization enthalpy ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಹೌದಾ. ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ionization enthalpy of 15 is greater than 14 ಸರಿ ಇದೆ. ionization enthalpy of 16 is greater than 15. ionization enthalpy of 17 group elements will be greater than 16 ಆಗಬೇಕು ಹೌದಾ. ಆದ್ರೆ ionization enthalpy of 15 is greater than, yes, it is 16. ionization enthalpy of group 15 elements will be greater than corresponding elements of group 16. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ns2 np3 ಕಾನ್ಫಿಗರೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನರ್ಥ, np3 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಫಿಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಹಾಫ್ ಫಿಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ 15 ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಹಾಫ್ ಫಿಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ np ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ionization enthalpy of 15 is greater than 16. ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ionization enthalpy of 16 to be greater than 15. ಆದ್ರೆ ionization enthalpy of 15 is greater than corresponding elements of the 16 group elements, because group 15 elements are characterized by np3 configuration, that is half filled state, that gives extra stability. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ionization enthalpy of group 15 elements is greater than those elements present in corresponding elements of 16th group ಹೌದಾ. So that is what we call it as ionization enthalpy. Of course, as far as ionization enthalpy is concerned, group 15 elements are characterized by, yes, it is first ionization enthalpy and second ionization enthalpy, yes, and third ionization enthalpy ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮೂರು. That is first ionization enthalpy ಅಂದ್ರೆ energy required to remove first electron from the outermost shell. ಇದು energy required to remove second electron from the outermost shell. ಇದು energy required to remove third electron from the outermost shell. ಹೌದಾನೆ. This is what first ionization enthalpy, second ionization enthalpy and third ionization enthalpy. ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ first ionization enthalpy is always less than second is always less than third. ಇದಂತೂ ಅದೇ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಅದೇ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಫಾಲೋ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. No doubt. As far as first ionization enthalpy is concerned, first ionization enthalpy ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಹಾಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಯನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಎಂಥಾಲ್ಪಿ ಆಫ್ ಬಿಸ್ಮತ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೆಸ್ ದನ್ ಆಂಟಿಮನಿ. ಹೌದಾ? ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ರಮ್ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಟು ಬಿಸ್ಮತ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. And of course bismuth is a bigger in size, therefore we expect the ionization enthalpy of bismuth to be less than antimony. Adare it is observed that second and third ionization enthalpies, second and third ionization enthalpies of bismuth will be greater than, yes, it is antimony. Nam prakara ionization enthalpy of bismuth to be less than antimony. Adre illi second and third ionization enthalpy of bismuth will be greater than antimony. Yake antandre once again ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, poor shielding effect caused by F electrons. ನೋಡಿ ಈ shielding effect ಎಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ionization enthalpy of bismuth to be least. ಆದ್ರೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಥರ್ಡ್ ionization enthalpy ಬಂದಾಗ second and third ionization enthalpies of bismuth will be greater than antimony. ಇದು unexpected ಇದು. ಹೌದಾ? ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ because of poor shielding effect caused by F electrons. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, shielding effect ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, control of the nucleus over the outermost electron increases. Shielding effect weak ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿನ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ನ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ outermost electron ಮೇಲೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, it requires ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ನ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ outermost electron ಮೇಲೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದ್ರೆ that requires more energy for the removal. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ because of the poor shielding effect caused by F electrons, second and third ionization enthalpies of bismuth will be greater than antimony. So this is what we call it as ionization enthalpy. ಆಗ್ಬೋದಾ? So this is something about, yes, it is general properties of group 15 elements. In the next video we'll see remaining aspects of the group 15 elements. ಆಗ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ನೋಡಿ, ಇದನ್ನ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಗರೇಷನ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರೆಯಕ್ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಆ ಜನರಲ್ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಹೇಗೆ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರ ಅಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಉಳಿದೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಗಮನಿಸಬೇಕು. ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೈಲೈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಆಗ್ಬೋದಾ? ವಿಲ್ ಸಿ ಇನ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್, ರೈಟ್?